What seemed like a normal office-like story with some sci-fi elements turned into one of the most mind-bending television series out there. And it made us all question the work-life balance. Yes, we're talking about Severance. From the show's eerie design choices to some really cool details hidden in the show, we're covering it all. So, get ready to clock in, because this is 107 Facts About Severance. Number 1. Severance was brought into this world way back in 2016. Dan Erickson, the creator of Severance, wrote an hour-long pilot script which was eventually recognized by Bloodlist, which is an annual list where Hollywood execs vote on their favorite unproduced scripts in circulation, specifically within the dark genre. Number 2. According to the management company Heroes and Villains Entertainment, the pilot script for Severance was the first ever TV script to be included on the annual Bloodlist. Number 3. If Severance hits a little close to home for those working in a corporate office, it isn't a coincidence. The idea for the show was born from Dan Erickson's personal experience with corporate misery. You see, Erickson had a string of office jobs, including weird little windowless offices. It came to the point where Erickson thought to himself, "Man, I wish I could just totally not experience the next 8 hours. I wish I could dissociate and just have it be 5 and suddenly I'm going home." Number 4. This idea caught the attention of Ben Stiller. Yes, the Meet the Parents Ben Stiller. Erickson had sent his script over to Stiller's production company, Red Hour. Stiller thought that the story presented by Erickson were reminiscent of certain workplace office comedies, with a mix of strange dark undertones. Number 5. Erickson stated that some inspiration for the Severance pilot came from iconic surreal films such as The Truman Show and Being John Malkovich, and you can definitely see where he implemented some of these inspirations into Severance's world. Number 6. Another point of reference for Severance was a standalone episode of Black Mirror, White Christmas. Funny enough, this is also my favorite episode of Black Mirror for a multitude of reasons I will not get into right now. Anyway, according to Erickson, White Christmas made him feel so cold and afraid due to the idea of having to experience endless solitude. The episode in question features copied versions of human personalities, some of which are forced to do menial tasks in solitary confinement. Number 7. Dan Erickson even cited Contact as an influence for Severance. In Contact, the story is more about how this extraordinary event affected people, as opposed to just about the event. You can see this influence in the non-dinner party scene of Severance's very first episode. In the scene, the characters are debating the implications of being severed, even going so far as to be insufferable when they debate it. It's what Erickson finds interesting when building up this world. Number 8. Speaking of the non-dinner party scene, one of Jen Tulloch and Dan Erickson's favorite scenes to film in Season 1 was the non-dinner party scene. The sequence took about a night and a half to shoot, and according to Erickson, it was a memorable experience watching the cast perform such a bizarre and absurd event. Number 9. The pilot for Severance was apparently way weirder and more surreal than what we eventually got. Stiller called the original script more acid-trippy, while Erickson pointed out one scene where there was a pair of disembodied legs that would be running by. Of course, this was cut and we never got to see it. Number 10. Before Erickson and Stiller even discussed casting with one another, Erickson already had an idea for casting, particularly for the character of Mark Scout, and that is Adam Scott. Erickson's had this casting in mind since he first wrote Severance, and has stated that he was a fan of Scott's performance on Parks and Recreation. Number 11. While we're on the topic of Parks and Rec, lots of fans of Severance and Parks and Rec found a scene that seems to foreshadow Adam Scott's future role as Mark Scout. In a chat with Leslie Knope, Adam's character, Ben Wyatt, tells her that it would be good to keep their home life and work life separate, where they only talk about their work stuff when they're at work, like a firewall of sorts that prevents them from bringing the conversation home. Even the official Parks and Recreation account promoted this clip on YouTube. It's kind of funny how they leaned into it. Number 12. Some say that people were born to play certain roles, and that can honestly be said about Adam Scott with Mark Scout. Despite not communicating beforehand about casting with Dan Erickson, Ben Stiller also thought about Scott for Mark. Stiller and Scott had worked together way back in 2013, albeit for a short time, with Scott playing a small role. Stiller believed that Scott had yearned to play a character more challenging. Number 13. In January of 2017, Stiller reached out to Scott and gave him a rundown of the show. Scott loved it, and the rest is history. Or you would think that, but more on that later. Number 14. So we know that the show airs exclusively on Apple TV+. Stiller had sold the show to Apple as they were prepping to launch the streaming service. While this might seem like a done deal, there was one little thing that made Apple a little hesitant about the show: Adam Scott. According to a report by The New Yorker, there was this idea that Scott could be anyone, someone that could easily be overlooked, which made it harder to sell to Apple. Number 15. Ben Stiller, on the other hand, did not want to compromise on Adam Scott's casting. Because of this, development on the show stalled for an entire year. However, one day late at night, Stiller would email Scott about sending in a proper audition, as this would let Apple consider him for the role. According to Scott, he remembers sitting on the email asking himself if he was in any position to say no thanks to an audition for the best pilot he had ever read. Scott replied to Stiller, read the part, and the role was secured. Number 16. Severance was ordered for 9 episodes. Stiller was only set to direct the pilot, but as he continued to work on the project, the more he became connected to it. He would then go on to direct 3 episodes before eventually directing more episodes of the show. Number 17. The retro-futuristic look of the show can be attributed to production designer Jeremy Hindle, who took inspiration from all over the place to create Severance's distinct aesthetic. If you don't know Hindle's work, he has worked on Top Gun Maverick, Detroit, True Story, and Zero Dark 30 as production designer as well. Number 18. Lumen's offices are meant to evoke a sense of familiarity, and as such include typical office cues such as cubicles, fluorescent lighting, and minimal distractions. However, Severance takes those expectations and twists them, creating its own liminal environment. Number 19. Jeremy Hindle said that the MDR room needed to be highly stylized and photographically interesting because the show was going to spend a significant amount of time in MDR. I realize I'm saying MDR like everyone knows it. It is macro data refinement, which is one of the offices in Severance, for those of you who haven't watched it. In his words, it's only 4 people in the room. It had to be really, really beautiful and interesting. Number 20. The MDR office is massive. It's about 80 feet by 40 feet with low ceilings. It creates the feeling of being trapped. However, Hindle envisioned the room as a playground of sorts. This is where the newly severed employees go to after orientation. To convey this idea, the room has green carpet mixed in with white walls. According to Hindle, the green acts as a lifeline. Green is considered the most common color to the human eye, and color theories suggest that it makes you feel calm. Number 21. Not all shades of white and green are created equal. The team cycled through 30 different shades of white and 6 shades of green during their camera tests. In the end, the green that they chose for the carpet was, as Hindle says, the most obnoxious color you've ever seen. It's almost like a putting green, but it worked with the grading. Number 22. Color is actually very important to Severance. According to set decorator Andrew Baseman, the color red, along with warm tones, represent the outside world, while blue and cool tones are representative of Lumen and the severed world. And you'll see a lot of this in the show itself, with a lot of outside elements being red, while literally like anything connected to Lumen itself is blue. Number 23. Lumen's offices being underground is intentional, as it offers no clues to what Lumen actually does. In universe, Lumen manufactures everything that the cast uses. Everything has their label and their packaging. Nothing ever gets shipped in, so nobody from the outside gets to see what happens in the office. That way, nobody can question specifically what's going on at Lumen. Number 24. Out of universe, the idea of Lumen branding makes sense on a production level. The production team made a deliberate effort to eliminate all real-world branding and labels from the show. Quote, "It was a very clear creative choice to not show any branding of any sorts," explained prop master Catherine Miller. Even small details like the beer Mark pulls from the fridge features custom-made labels designed in-house. The goal was to create a world that felt slightly detached from a specific time or place, avoiding the influence of recognizable brands that might anchor the story too firmly in reality. Like, imagine we see Coke in there, and it's like a specific logo from Coke. People know when in time these labels are from, so the production team really tried to avoid stuff like that. Number 25. When designing props for the set, Hindle looked to what he calls pharmaceutical reality, where these companies would have so much money and have massive budgets to design whatever they could. He said it was fun to think of what an Elon Musk-like character could do with something like this. Number 26. Back to the idea of MDR's office evoking a playground-like quality, Hindle applied this idea to the designs of the equipment as well. The equipment that Mark and his co-workers use combine a retro-analog aesthetic with futuristic features. The designs of the computers were based on the bulky iMacs from yesteryear, with CRT screens that actually had touchscreen functionality and keyboards with trackballs. Number 27. The computers were all built from scratch and were actually fully functional pieces of equipment. During shoots, the cast would actually use the props. Hindle suggests that viewers should watch John Turturro on his keyboard and watch what he does. Each computer is programmable and movable, so the cast's all doing stuff while sitting there. It's not fake, like they're literally on their computer. Number 28. Several keen viewers of the show have pointed out that the keyboards that the MDR workers use lack an escape button, which is an intentional design choice. You can't truly escape Lumen, ever. Number 29. Speaking of knowing the purpose of their work, the actors of the MDR employees didn't know what MDR did for the entirety of the first season. With season 2 out, I'm sure they now know, but back when it was unknown, and for the cast, they all agreed that they shouldn't know yet. Number 30. Hindle drew visual inspiration from a variety of different sources, from The Office, Fargo, films by Charlie Kaufman, and even Life magazines from the 60s to 80s. He noted how desks from this time were pristine and minimalist, and how people would just go to work. This idea was of work-life balance taken to the extremes for Severance. Number 31. In addition to those inspirations, the surreal set designs of Jacques Tati's Playtime were a major inspiration for Severance's eerie office interiors. Number 32. The Lumen office itself is labyrinthine in nature, filled with maze-like hallways that lead to a multitude of different apartments and locations. Dan Erickson actually created a sketch of a map that extended for 3 to 5 miles. Number 33. The main Lumen sets were built on sound stages in the Bronx, with one stage housing 140 feet of modular hallways that were constantly rearranged to create the show's maze-like feel. A second stage featured larger hallways used later in the season for even more disorienting scenes. Number 34. Outside of MDR, Mark and his co-workers would venture out and stumble upon different apartments, some of which are described by Hindle as being inspired by the aesthetics of the MC Esther. You remember that goat scene where they find the goats? I feel like that's definitely one that looks like it came out of MC Esther's art. Number 35. One location outside of MDR is the Perpetuity Wing, which is basically a museum-like portion of Lumen dedicated to its founder, Keir Egan, and contains a replica of Egan's house. The replica house was too big for the production team to build from scratch. Instead, the team found a museum in the Bronx. Hindle and Stiller saw the exterior of the building and thought that could be underground. Number 36. When thinking about the exteriors of the Lumen office building, Hindle cites the modernist architect Eero Saarinen as an influence. Hindle had imagined Saarinen's John Deere World headquarters in Illinois when visualizing the building. Number 37. Funny enough, when it came time for shooting, the team managed to pick another Saarinen-designed building, the Bell Works complex in Holmdel, New Jersey. This location was used for Lumen's exterior shots. Number 38. To finalize Lumen's look, graphic designer Tansy Mashad spent 2 months and hundreds of drafts creating the company's logo, a stylized global map with a droplet forming the center of the O, subtly referencing the implant used on severed employees. Even though Severance portrays a world where work and home lives are kept separate, the reach of Lumen extends far beyond the office, seeping into every corner of its employees' personal lives. Number 39. Mark's corporate housing neighborhood was filmed in Nyack, New York. After scouting at least 60 locations, Hindle settled on this particular neighborhood because it consisted of several blue houses with the same basic design but with slight variations in architecture. Number 40. For the vehicles used in the show, the team decided to use cars from different time periods to give a sense of disorientation. According to Dan Erickson, at Lumen, the innies are intentionally made to feel unmoored from time and space, and that bleeds into the town a bit too. We wanted the town to feel like an extension of Lumen in a way. Number 41. The direction for the vehicles was decided early in pre-production. During this time, production designer Jeremy Hindle, executive producer Ben Stiller, alongside prop master Catherine Miller, made it clear that modern vehicles didn't fit the brutalist aesthetic that the show was going for. Number 42. One of the hardest parts of choosing vintage car models is that actually acquiring them would be very difficult. Peter Dancy, the picture car supervisor on Severance, said that, quote, they decided to choose more or less the most difficult vehicles to source and to keep running. Vehicles were acquired via collectors, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, scrapyards, and classified ads. Number 43. In addition to acquiring the cars, most of the time the cars that were acquired needed some sort of additional work to them. Dancy mentioned that, quote, the vehicles I found almost all needed some sort of work, either mechanical, bodywork, or both. So, what did he do? Well, Dancy worked with local mechanics and body shops, such as Joe's Auto in Elizabethville, New York, for example. Number 44. Between the 2 seasons of Severance, a total estimated 400 vehicles were sourced. And that's just between 2 seasons, imagine for season 3. And you could tell, like, looking at the amount of cars in season 1 on the set compared to season 2, there was definitely way more cars in season 2, so you can tell that there was more time spent acquiring them. Number 45. When needed, modifications to cars were implemented. For a key scene, Miss Cabell reclines her seat in her Volkswagen Rabbit. However, she wakes up and suddenly bolts upright. This wasn't originally possible in the Rabbit, so the crew made a last-minute modification by swapping out the car's original crank lift seat for a lever lift version to better serve the timing of the shot. This meticulous adjustment was made overnight and highlights the crew's commitment to detail, even for just a few seconds of screen time. Number 46. Stiller mentioned that Season 1 of Severance wasn't shot traditionally and was filmed in what's called block shooting, where they would shoot everything in one location for every episode. Things were shot out of order, essentially. Adam Scott chimed in and explained that they were jumping around a lot. They would be on location to film in any scene for episode 2, for example, but also use the same day to shoot an Audi scene for episode 6. Number 47. Filming for season 1 of the show was done over the course of almost 10 months. Teams would film from November to June before taking a break and picking up shooting once more in August and September. Additionally, because of the block shooting, Stiller explained how they were matching scenes from 7 or 8 months previously. Like, imagine trying to do that after having aged 6 months? That's crazy. Number 48. Britt Lauer, the actress for Helly R, created a visual reference tool in the form of a Helly-themed graphic novel on her wall to track the character's storyline during Season 1, as filming was done out of order. She sketched key action scenes to help maintain continuity, including moments like Helly smashing through a window or running down a hallway. Number 49. While Lumen Industries might be a fictitious company, the organization does have a LinkedIn page. It's a clever way for this fake company to promote Severance on a job-focused social media platform. Number 50. Additional information about company employees can also be found on Lumen's LinkedIn page. For those that are curious, Mark S.'s employee code is 08927. Number 51. According to Mark Scout's driver's license, his birthday is on April 3rd, 1978, which means he shares the same birthday as Adam Scott, except 5 years later. I'm saying that Adam Scott is 5 years older than Mark in real life, but they share the same day. Number 52. Going back to cars real quick, the production team did car casting to match cars to their drivers/characters. Mark, the main character and often seen as safe and sensible, drives around a 90s Volvo, a boxy, sharply styled sedan known for its safety. Given that Mark lost his wife in a car accident, the production team's choice for safety felt even more fitting. Number 53. Adam Scott approached playing Mark's Innie and Audi as two distinct but interconnected characters. To help differentiate the two roles, he drew inspiration from a story director Ben Stiller shared about Michael Keaton's performance in the 1996 film Multiplicity. Keaton used a whiteboard or chart on set to keep track of the various versions of his character. This method influenced Scott's own strategy for managing the dual aspects of Mark's identity throughout the series. Number 54. According to Dan Erickson's sister Haley on Twitter of all places, the character of Mark Scout is named after Mark Erickson, their father. Number 55. Britt Lauer was chosen to play the character of Helly R. One of the first things Ben Stiller and Britt Lauer discussed when shaping the character of Helly R was her hair color and how it would fit within the show's distinct color palette. From the moment Britt submitted her audition tape, performing just the first scene, Stiller immediately felt she was the perfect choice. It was amazing, he said. There was something about who Britt was, both as a person and an actor, that made it clear this role was hers. Number 56. Similar to Mark's information being on the Lumen LinkedIn page, Helly R's full name and information is revealed to be Helly Riggs, which I don't remember it being revealed in the show, but I guess it doesn't matter if you watch season 2. Spoiler alert, because we know it ain't Helly R. Number 57. Additionally, Helly's employee number is revealed to be 08988, with fans believing that 988 could be a reference to the 988 phone number, which is the suicide hotline. This, of course, if true, foreshadows Helly's self-destructive scene in Season 1, Episode 4. Number 58. Helena's Lincoln Continental is another example of car casting. Its luxurious coach doors symbolize her legacy status and the duality of her character. Number 59. Britt Lauer describes Innie Helly as a raw, unshaped version of the self, unaffected by personal memories or self-narratives. In contrast, Audi Helly is more aware of how she's perceived by others and presents herself accordingly. Innie Helly, however, exhibits a rebellious, angst-filled attitude similar to that of a teenager, which Lauer drew on to shape the character's behavior. I feel like I wrote something else about Innie and Audi Helly because of how Season 2 was, but I think I saved that for a later fact. Anyway, moving on. Number 60. Dylan G, also known as Dylan Jord, is played by the amazing and funny, or amazingly funny, Zach Cherry. He is employee 08974. Number 61. Dylan is a family man, so his Audi drives a minivan. And staying true to the show's 80s and 90s cars, the team chose the classic Dodge Caravan as the car he drives. Number 62. John Torturo plays Irving Bailiff, otherwise known as Irv, Lumen employee 08454. The Lumen LinkedIn page suggests that Irv worked for Lumen for 9 years, but the show states that he's only been severed for 3. What was he doing for the other 6 years? Number 63. John Turturro personally suggested Christopher Walken for the role of Bert G., his character's love interest in Severance. Wanting to work with someone he knew and could enjoy being on set with, Turturro brought up Walken's name to director Ben Stiller. Number 64. Tramell Tillman was brought on board to play middle manager Seth Milchick. According to Tillman, when he got the role, he didn't really have much to go off of in terms of who this character was. All he was given was enthusiastic company man, and that's it. But let me tell you, he really played the part. Amazing. I love Milchick. He's such a interesting character. Number 65. The role of Mark Scout's sister Devon was given to Jen Tulloch. Jen Tulloch chose not to read the Lumen scenes in the script to mirror her character Devon's lack of knowledge. She explained that since Devon's story is driven by her curiosity and the frustration of not knowing what happens inside Lumen, it made sense to her, as an actor, to stay in the dark as well. Number 66. The very first scene of the show, with Helly lying unconscious on a large desk, is meant to represent a womb. According to Dan Erickson, it's the birthplace of the office. It's the womb. They are new into this world. The innies are new personas created by the severance process, after all. So, to Erickson, it just made sense. Number 67. Petey's funeral program, which you see in episode 4 of season 1, identifies Stephen Davin as the guitar accompanist, Dan Sheets as a member of Petey's band, and Denise O'Connor as the prayer reader. In later episodes, the names Stephen, Dan S., and Denise O. appear on various Lumen records. Davin is even listed on Irving's severed employee list, while the other 2 names are seen on the security office wall display. Number 68. A cool little detail regarding Helly's break room session is that her first session starts at 15:17 in episode 3, while it ends on 17:15 in episode 4. I see what you're doing, production crew. Number 69. There's a lot to appreciate in Severance, but Dan Erickson has a clear favorite scene: the music dance experience. Believe it or not, he almost cut it during the scripting phase. Quote, "I wasn't sure we needed it or that there was room for it," he said. But director Ben Stiller and producer Mark Friedman insisted it could be something special, and they were right. The moment Tramell started dancing, I was like, "Welp, I was as wrong as humanly possible on this one," Erickson said. Number 70. During filming, the cast was unaware that the MDR office ceiling would light up in a rainbow color during the music dance experience scene, so their surprised reactions on camera were genuine. Number 71. According to actor Tramell Tillman, the dancing for the music dance experience wasn't completely planned out. Instead, the cast did work with choreographer Dara Hartz Rodriguez to plan out the vibe and the idea of Milchick approaching each of the Ennies during the sequence, but the general flow was left up to Tillman. Number 72. Set director Andrew Baseman discovered the cart used in the music dance experience scene through an online search. Wanting to preserve the original, he arranged for a replica to be used for the part of the scene where Milchick destroys it. Number 73. Executive producer Mark Friedman is credited with coming up with the name Defiant Jazz for the music selection. The song used for Defiant Jazz is called Shaky Jake by Joe McPhee, created in 1971. Number 74. I don't know if y'all paused, but the available genre selections for the music dance experience is really interesting. It includes a wide variety of quirky and expressive styles, such as body funk, bouncy swing, buoyant reggae, defiant jazz, effusive ska, exalted choral, exciting rap, hootin' tootin' country, lofty orchestral, maximized rhythms, playful punk, reckless disco, spooky ambient, tearful emo, thoughtful grunge, wholesome big band, and wistful pipes. I swear, these are like the playlists you get generated through Spotify. Like, these are the names that are generated for playlists on Spotify. It's really funny. Or it sounds like it. Number 75. In Season 1, Episode 8, although left uncredited, the voice of the animated Keir Egan that plays after Helly reaches 100% quota is Ben Stiller. Number 76. Another cast cameo occurs in Episode 9's book reading. Severance creator Dan Erickson makes a brief cameo during the book reading scene, appearing as one of the guests. He interacts with Devon and greets Mark as he walks past. Number 77. The final episode is titled The We Are, which is supposed to be a play on Rickon's in-universe book, The You Are, which in turn was also the title of an episode earlier in the season. There are several instances where titles play with each other. This isn't the only time it happens. Number 78. When Irv goes through his paperwork, you can see that we're given Bert's address of Keir, PE 07452. As of Season 2, we still don't know what state Keir is located in, and if it is set in the States, and PE doesn't really help as it doesn't stand for any states in the US. Some fans have started referring it to the province of Egan, which I personally think sounds just about right. Number 79. In real life, the 07452 zip code belongs to Glen Rock, New Jersey, located a few miles northwest of New York City. It's also considered to be one of New Jersey's highest income communities. Number 80. Kier's name isn't the only Egan name to be used in the Audi world. Several businesses outside of Lumen are named after members of the Egan family. For example, Myrtle Egan, one of Kier's daughters and Lumen's third CEO, is the namesake for the Myrtle Egan School for Girls, which Miss Cabell attended, and the Myrtle Egan Credit Union. Number 81. Imogen Egan, who is Kier's wife, is the namesake for a soap store called Swab Girl. And this goes into Lumen lore, because according to Lumen mythology, Kier and Imogen, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Imogen, met while working at an ether factory, where she was a swab girl who cleaned out ether vents. Number 82. Baird Egan, Lumen's fourth CEO, has his name for Baird Creek Manor, the Kier neighborhood where both Mark Scout and Mrs. Selvig, aka Miss Cabell, live. Number 83. Gerhardt Egan, the fifth CEO of Lumen, is the namesake for Gerhardt's Restaurant, which is the same restaurant where Mark Scout and Alexa go on a date. Number 84. Leonora Egan, the seventh CEO of Lumen, is the namesake of Leonora Lake, the neighborhood where Irving lives. Number 85. Speaking of Irv's license plate is also very Kier-centric, with the face of Kier seen prominently in the center of the plate. The plate also contains the Latin phrase Remedium Homonibus, which roughly translates in English to Cure for Humanity. Number 86. Dan Erickson revealed that the original script for Season 1, Episode 9 included more lines for Irving. However, they ultimately chose to cut the dialogue, leaving Irving to say only one word at the very end: Bert. Erickson recalled that Turturro suggested he could convey the moment without speaking, which became part of the creative decision. Number 87. The pictures that Milchick was taking throughout the first season can be seen in the final episode of Season 1. It's all part of the Lumen Gala, specifically Helena Egan's presentation, where she planned to reveal the false experience of her severed self. I guess false is manufactured, I guess is the right word for that. Number 88. Britt Lauer described filming the Lumen Gala scene in the Season 1 finale as a surreal experience, largely due to the set being filled with oversized images of herself. She used the genuine shock of walking into a room covered in her own face to enhance her performance. Lauer recalled feeling physically unsettled by the overwhelming visuals, which mirrored Helly's own disorientation in the scene. She also praised the choreography of the moment, highlighting the precise camera work and intricate set design that brought the sequence to life. Number 89. Adam Scott revealed that filming the major cliffhanger at the end of Season 1, where Mark runs and screams to reveal a crucial truth, required multiple takes. The scene was shot quite a bit to make sure the timing, emotion, and impact were captured exactly as intended. According to him, it was all about turning it up to 11. Number 90. Dyken Lockman learned about the major Miss Casey/Gemma twist early in the process. She was given access to all the scripts at once, which allowed her to understand the full arc of her character from the beginning. Additionally, director Ben Stiller revealed the twist to her during the audition process, giving her valuable context for how to approach the role. Number 91. The opening sequence of Severance Season 2, Episode 1, Hello Miss Cabell, showing Mark S. racing through the Lumen halls, was filmed over the course of 5 months with breaks in between shoots. It was actually shot as a, quote, simulated long take, where in reality it was split into 10 different parts. Number 92. For this hallway running scene, the production used a variety of filming techniques, including a green screen, treadmill, and motion control camera for one shot, and a robotic arm with a removed wall for another. Director Ben Stiller even had Adam Scott study Tom Cruise's signature running style from the Mission Impossible films to capture the right physical intensity. Number 93. A president of the United States was almost a part of Season 2 of Severance. Ben Stiller reportedly offered former President Barack Obama a voice cameo role for Season 2, but ultimately he declined. Don't get too down in the dumps though. That voice role that Obama declined was given to Keanu Reeves instead. If you're wondering what that role was, well, it was the voice of the Lumen Administrative Building, Branch 501, in the Lumen is Listening video. Number 94. In Severance Season 2, Episode 2, The After Hours, the striking home of Lumen CEO James Egan may look like a futuristic CGI-enhanced set, but it's actually a real location. The Taconic House in upstate New York, designed by architect Thomas Pfeiffer in 1999. Number 95. For the Ortbo in Season 2, Episode 4, the episode was filmed in Minnewaska State Forest with the crew transporting the large MDR desk set using all-terrain vehicles. To preserve the environment, they constructed temporary bridges over the natural landscape during production. Very Death Stranding of them. Number 96. Episode 4 of Season 2 also includes the grand reveal that Helena Egan was masquerading as Helly R for the first few episodes of Season 2. Britt Lauer revealed in an interview that she included some tells with her acting that hints at Helly not actually being who she really was. Some instances include how Helena was hesitant to take action and would observe rather than push forward like Helly usually would. There's also instances where Helena would actually be slow to turn on the computer, where Helly would know exactly where the on switch was. Stuff like that, where fans would actually catch on and realize that this was happening. Number 97. The scene where Milchick speaks to Natalie about her opinion about the recanonized paintings just before the performance review was nearly cut from the episode. It remained in the final version at the request of Tremel Tillman, who emphasized its importance in giving Milchick a moment of connection with another person of color and allowing Natalie's character space to respond, or not to respond, if you watch the show. Number 98. According to a Reddit AMA with Dan Erickson, Lumen did offer Severed employees some office perks for going through literal brain surgery. Outies, for example, are given gift cards to local restaurants, while innies get toys, drawings, and, as we see in the show itself, waffle parties. You can actually see this where Mark visits Pip's Bar and Grill after receiving a Lumen gift card as consolation for a quote-unquote workplace injury. Speaking of which, the namesake of Pip's Bar and Grill is Pip Egan, the 6th CEO of Lumen. Number 99. As part of the Season 2 promotion, a life-sized replica of the Macrodata refinement workstations was built inside a glass box at Grand Central Station. Adam Scott, Britt Lauer, Zach Cherry, Tremel Tillman, and Patricia Arquette all appeared in character, performing live for onlookers. Number 100. On top of that, on April 5th and 6th of 2025, there was a Severance pop-up at Bellworks in Holmdel, New Jersey, otherwise known as the Lumen Building. The building was transformed into Lumen for those days, and fans of the show could enter set pieces, take part in photo ops, meet the cast of the show, and more. It was basically a fan's dream event. Number 101. A companion ebook called The Lexington Letter was written by the show's creators and released on Apple Books for free. While not confirmed to be concurrent with the series, it is considered canon and contains information that helps flesh out the world of Severance. Basically, if you're a fan of the show, go download the book now. Number 102. Downloading the Lexington Letter also gives you access to a copy of the Lumen Macrodata Refiners orientation booklet that was seen in episode 2 of the show. Number 103. The score for Severance was composed by Theodore Shapiro and features 19 tracks, primarily blending piano and synthesizer. The signature stuttering sound heard during flickering scene transitions, also known as Fritz cuts, is part of the score itself and not an added post-production effect. Number 104. The music for Severance was so good that Shapiro won the 2022 Emmy for Outstanding Music Composition for a series/dramatic score. Number 105. On YouTube, the official Apple TV channel streamed Severance Music to Refine To for 8 hours. This included a set of tracks, which were remixes of the Severance score, that viewers can put on the background and listen to while doing whatever they want. This follows trends set by the Lo-Fi Beats to Study To streams, and honestly it works! I've been writing this entire script while listening to this stream. Number 106. A fan of Severance, Cam Kreitner on TikTok, I hope I'm pronouncing you right, posted up a video of him singing along to the Severance opening theme song, even though it doesn't have any lyrics. To play along with the bit, the cast and crew of Severance used Cam Kreitner's audio and filmed themselves lip-singing to it. This is just the perfect example of, leading into the fandom. Number 107, Dan Erickson has the entire series planned out. We may only be up to Season 2 as of writing the script, but he said that the full scope of the show would likely be around 3 to 6 seasons long. He's also publicly stated that he even has a last scene in mind. Let's see if this works out and it doesn't end up like a George R.R. Martin situation where it has to change and he's stuck rewriting and rewriting. And there you have it. That is 107 facts about Severance. If you learned something new, be sure to like, subscribe, and let us know your favorite Severance moment in the comments. Thanks for watching. Until next time.